Alright people, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to walk you through my 6 weeks of taking retatrutide and tell you the good, the bad, what happened to me individually. If you're considering taking it, this might help you make a better decision, but I am not a doctor, I'm not a certified practitioner, whatever. So don't take any of this as medical advice. I'm just telling you about my experience, things that I noticed. My biology, my whole life is different to you. So take everything with a grain of salt or maybe a handful of salt. I actually recorded a 1 week sort of in-depth, like, holding the camera with me injecting it and walking you through like hour by hour. But I didn't want to upload that because what happened in the first week was very different to week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There was some negatives that came up and I didn't want to upload week 1 because it was so positive and people might have gotten the wrong message and not the reality, which a lot of people are not speaking about. So firstly, why did I do it? Well, I wanted to go from 15% to 10% body fat. I was inspired by a few influencers I saw online and I was like, why have I never actually gotten super lean? So I wanted to get super lean and I'll show you what I look like now. 6 weeks after, I'm on a maintenance phase, so I've got my abs coming out, more full of glycogen. And I'd say I'm probably about, 11-12% body fat. So this is what I'm working with. Now before taking this, I never took anything synthetic, man-made, like steroids or peptides. And all I've done up to this point is some other peptides, which is the Glow Stack. And Reta. So yeah, another reason I did it is because I'm definitely a biohacker. A lot of people see my content and they think that I'm just about being healthy, being natural, not doing anything like man-made synthetic, enhancements, but that's just not who I am. If I think it's worth the risk, then I'll do it. I tend to take a bit of risks, but I'm not crazy at the end of the day. I already have really good fundamentals, so I knew that if I were to do it, I would get better results than a lot of people who are just, they don't have the diet locked in, they don't have the sleep locked in, they're not training properly, they're not having enough protein, whatever. I knew that I already had the discipline. I was already on a cut for about maybe 2 months or so. I already was making some good progress and I was like, cool, let me do this. It's quite well researched. By the way, a lot of the bad news you'll see online about like, oh, this person got sick on retatrutide, this bad thing happened. A lot of that is just controlled marketing by the media companies because these big companies can't profit off it because it's all gray market at the moment. But anyway, I won't get too far into that. Now, if you don't know, I'm a health and performance coach. I work with entrepreneurs and this isn't something I'm forcing down their throat. They can make an educated decision based on that. I'm not forcing anyone to do it. So any transformations you see on my channel, none of my clients have actually taken Reta, just for your information. Now, what is retatrutide? So you might have heard of Ozempic and tirzepatide. Now, these fat-burning peptides work on 1 or 2 receptors in the body and they help with fat loss. But retatrutide is especially special and the most powerful one out there because it works on 3 receptors, which is the GLP-1, the GIP, and glucagon. And I'll put a photo right here that summarizes basically what they do. It will be simpler than the way I can explain it. Now it's still in a research phase, so I got it gray market from a friend who I trust, and he showed me testing, etc. I'm not gonna help you find retatrutide, so don't even ask me, right? The other thing is, this is not a magical pill. It's the closest thing to a magical pill because most people who take it, they end up losing weight. But in the long term, if you don't change your identity, you change your habits, this probably won't be something that lasts in the long term. So I truly believe that you still have to transform your identity and get used to the daily habits, because if I were to get off retatrutide, I would have been absolutely fat now, but I've maintained my physique still like a month later, right? Now, I'm going to walk you through what happened week by week, just a few notable changes, and then I'm going to go into the good and then the bad. Okay, so week 1, when I first took it, it was my first time injecting it. It felt pretty weird. It kind of hurt. I was just injecting it like right here and rotating it. To be honest, I was kind of looking forward to taking it. I kind of felt like I was having like a power up, like I was giving myself some boost, right? I only did 1 milligram per week, and then by the 4th week, I dropped it to 0.5 milligram, and I'll tell you why. But yeah, it's just 1 injection a week. Some people do it like multiple injections. They spread it out because it tends to get a little bit weaker. I didn't feel the need to do that, right? Week 1, overall, I had a great week. I felt like I was burning fuel constantly. My productivity went up. I was thinking about food way less just from day 1, and I was just always in go mode. I was always in go mode because a lot of brain fog and low energy you get is from energy crashes, blood sugar crashes. A lot of glucose dysregulation is connected to brain fog, And this really helps you, especially the GLP-1 effect, where you're slowly digesting food. So I wasn't getting bloated, I wasn't getting energy crashes, I wasn't, getting just tired after eating. So that helped a lot. I could eat meals, and I didn't feel like I needed to go for a walk to reduce the crash. So productivity-wise, and no one really understood this besides me and a few friends that I spoke to about it, but it really is a performance boosting thing. It's a big reason I did it, not just to cut, but from the energy levels you get and all that kind of thing. So I really enjoyed that. Week one was pretty amazing. I just felt on mentally. I was able to work very long. And when I would go to the gym, it's not like I had more power or anything. Again, I'm on a cut, so I'm having like 2.2K calories as a guy who trains hard 5 days per week, 10K steps, etc. But yeah, I wasn't getting more powerful, I wasn't getting stronger, but I just felt more focused and locked in. So week one was great. Now week two, the effect of having the second milligram, like the effect kind of snowballs week by week. So week two, I started finding it pretty hard to even have 2K calories. I was having some days at 1.8, which for me, I should have been having like 2.3, to be honest, with how active I was. So that was a bit of a mistake, but it was just really hard. It was just hard to eat enough. So week two was alright, I was still productive, I was still enjoying retatrutide. Now week three is when I really started noticing a few of the negative side effects. That's when the training started becoming a lot more difficult. Like I'd go to boxing and I'd go to the gym, and I was really disciplining myself. I didn't want to go to the gym. My motivation was low. Now, is this from retatrutide? It does have an effect on your dopamine, which I only found out towards the end of the whole cycle. But is that due to me being in a calorie deficit? Because when you're cutting for too long, it destroys your mood. You feel depressed, you feel flat, you feel like shit. Your body's literally dying. Like you're eating, your body's eating itself. It's not going to be very happy and produce all this serotonin and dopamine and make you feel great. So my workouts started getting pretty bad. I started just feeling a bit more flat, especially by like week 4 and 5. My sister actually came to me and said like, you've been really flat lately. And I knew it. Like I was fully aware of it. I literally would just, not high, not low. I was just flat. Nothing was funny. Nothing, like I was just super stoic. Not even stoic, like I just felt no emotion. I just felt flat. It was kind of gay, to be honest. If you know me, if you're a friend of mine, you know that I can be very energetic. I'm usually like energetic. You know what I mean? Like I have emotion. And so by week 4, 5 and 6, I dropped to 0.5 milligram because I was really struggling to eat enough. I started getting a little bit like moody and just flat. Again, I still felt wired all the time. Like I still felt on, if you know what I mean. I'm constantly burning fuel, but it just felt like I'm this wired zombie, if that kind of makes sense. And also my Whoop band, I was tracking it. I could see that my resting heart rate was going up and up and up, and my heart rate variability was going down, down, down. Now that means my nervous system was working pretty hard, which makes sense. Business, training, and being in a calorie deficit. Also taking retatrutide, which naturally increases your resting heart rate. My nervous system was under a lot of load. Also at the time I started taking activated B vitamins, so this is a key factor. I found out my homocysteine levels were pretty high, so which means I'm not able to methylate vitamins, so I had to take a certain supplement which activates the nervous system even more, which will activate the nervous system even more. So that's another factor. I was taking activated B vitamins that was stimulating my nervous system on top of everything else. Now that's kind of what happened up until week 6. I want to mention a few bad things that I didn't mention. So one of them I really didn't like was that I just wasn't looking forward to food. Food is like a way of life. It's like a hobby. It's an interest. It's something we enjoy. We look forward to eating at certain restaurants, eating certain things in our culture, socially. Now, my mom would make dessert. My mom, like at the time I was in Australia, my mom would make all these foods and she'd be like, try some. I'm like, I can't. Like, I literally have no interest in food. Like, I don't give a shit. And a lot of the time I was force feeding myself, which is just, it's a bit nasty. Like, it removes a big part of life. At the time, even though I was cutting, I was still having a bit of apple cake at night as like a little reward, and I was still cutting. Like I was making progress, but I used to look forward to that, and I stopped looking forward to it completely, which is kind of a good thing, I guess, because you're avoiding processed food. Even till now, I feel like I've kind of maintained it. Like I actually rarely crave dessert. I rarely, you know what I mean. But at the same time, it's like you kind of enjoy food, and you're killing out that part of life that you actually enjoy. So that was a negative. The other one that's really bad is, as I said, once I got to like week 4, 5, and 6, I started basically being really flat and like semi-depressed. And so that wasn't really good. My resting heart rate went up pretty high. It went from like averaging like 47, And some days I woke up feeling fine, like wired with energy, but my resting heart rate was like 57. And I'm like, fuck, I still got good sleep. I tried to eat as well as I can. I tried to manage my stress. My resting heart rate is 10 beats over. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, fuck, like I can't do this for too long, okay? My heart rate variability went from average like 85 or 90 down to like 66 for the time I was doing it, I think. And that's when I was like, yeah, my nervous system is getting attacked pretty hard, right? And then again, my training was just becoming shit. I was way weaker lifting weights. In boxing, I was really dragging myself through every workout. The warm-ups were hard. And again, I was trying to eat enough, but you cannot eat. You feel like you're going to throw up, right? Now, another notable side effect was I started getting itchy. And this was from, I think, even day one. When I would go to the gym and I would push really hard in a set, or I would go in the sun and it's really hot, or I would get stressed, or I'd warm up in boxing, I would get this like wave of itchiness. And what I found out later is it's actually like a histamine response. So again, I didn't test for that, but it does kind of make sense. When your body's not used to a certain compound, it has to, like the histamine is there to kind of like defend or whatever. So pretty sure it was from that. Some other people weren't really getting that. Actually don't think I heard of anyone else getting that. But that was pretty annoying. Like I'd start warming up and then I'd be like, oh shit, like fuck. Oh, like it's just this wave of itchiness. It's really annoying. And that didn't go away for the whole time. So I had that the whole time. Now the good. Obviously you're avoiding processed food. You're making great changes with fat loss. Like I did a test by the end and I got to what it said, 9.5% body fat. Now people will look at me and say, you're not actually at 9.5, blah, blah, blah. You're actually at 10, 11, whatever. The scan says that even if I got to like 10, 11%, that's still pretty good progress, going from like 15, 14% down in about, I don't know, 6 weeks, or probably longer because I was already cutting for like 2 months before that. But yeah, I also got in already decent shape before Retta, and it just gave me a bit of a turbo boost. I think I got pretty lean, then I gained a little bit, and then I just kind of kept cutting. So yeah, for fat loss, it fucking works. For avoiding eating processed foods and cutting out the food noise so you can concentrate, not think about what you're eating when, it's really good. Retatrutide is a very powerful drug, and it works for fat loss. Now, if you were to do this, and again, I'm not a doctor, but this is just a fact, you need to be having enough protein to stop your body from breaking down muscle for energy. So keep your protein high. Don't drop your calories severely, right? Because it's easy for people to just not eat. They just don't eat. And then what's going to happen? You're going to feel like shit. You're going to crash your hormones. Your cortisol is going to go up. Your test is going to crash. Your body's going to store fat. You're going to break down muscle. Your face is going to look absolutely wrecked. You're not having nutrients. Like, don't do that. Like, don't be an idiot. You need to have some discipline. Have high protein. Don't drop your calories too low. I was trying hard to have 2.2k calories. I would have 2k or 1.9k, and even I suffered. So there's a lot of people out there that really fuck themselves up. They go to the hospital, not because of Retta, but because they have no discipline. They don't know how to use it as a tool. And keep their freaking hydration high, have high protein, still have enough calories in your cut. Don't drop it too low. Okay, so this is not for idiots who have zero discipline and some kind of guideline around it. So if you think it's just this thing you inject and then magic will happen, it can turn into hell, if you don't actually have the right discipline. And yeah, that's part of what I learned. What else I learned was that you still need a good foundation. Like, if I didn't have a good foundation, I wouldn't have gotten good results. I'd probably be fat right now. I'd have a bit of a Retta face. I'd look like a bit of a zombie. I'd probably have way less muscle on me because if I didn't have my protein high. So if you do this, there really is no free lunch. It helps, but the hard thing really you have to figure out, which is the diet, the sleep, the exercise, the high protein, the consistency in the gym. You have to, and one big thing I didn't mention is you have to keep lifting heavy weights for your body to understand that you need to use this, you need to maintain this muscle, right? So you need to keep lifting heavy weights. Try to not drop your strength because you need to give your body a reason to hold on to the muscle. Okay. Now, just to wrap this up, and also for the YouTube algorithm to understand that I am not promoting peptides, I'm just telling you about my experience and what I would generally advise, which is pretty safe, the advice I just gave you. You cannot go wrong with having high protein, not dropping your calories too low, etc. But yeah, hope you guys found this useful. If you have any questions or you just want to talk about peptides or retatrutide, drop it in the comments or message me on IG. And yeah, see ya.